Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for July 8th. Okay, so first I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers, new and established. Very grateful and appreciative for your ongoing support or your newly discovered support of Soulprint. And a quick reminder to those of you who may have forgotten or don't know, if you are looking for a little bit of sort of uplifting, more positive stuff or explanations or clarity in terms of your own sense of center and self and the world around you, please don't hesitate to hop over to Soulprint Insights, which is my other channel. You may very well find some helpful guidance or support there. So, okay, so here we are. Okay, so it's kind of not been good for Trump lately. The courts aren't agreeing with him, and his senators and his other Republicans are kind of backing away from him. They're trying to distance themselves a little bit. Mary's book has been approved, and in fact, it's getting released a couple weeks early, so, I'm sure that's got him rocking in the hallways. So I thought this would be a good time to take a look at what the rest of July looks like for Donald Trump. There's a lot going on. I mean, the coronavirus cases are increasing exponentially. The numbers are scary. And, his poll numbers are beyond depressing, and they're not getting better. Okay, those 10, 8, 10, 12, even 14-point leads that Biden has, that's not a fluke. That's not an anomaly. That's reality. And I'm sure on some level, in some way, he's being told that that's his new reality. So really, my question then becomes, what's going on with him? How is he coping with this? What can we anticipate from Trump and by extension, the Republican Party through the month of July? So come on down. I have a question. A couple more quick shuffles. Okay. Trump this month, Trump this month, Trump this month. I would say that's probably a fairly accurate representation of how he's doing. Let's see. Government. Delusion. Okay. So, this is the thing. He is being told behind the scenes that the numbers aren't good, the optics aren't good, his focus on, creating more and more of a racial divide, not good. He's hearing it. He's being told it. But there are some people very close around him, and I'm going to go with Stephen Miller being one of them. Also notice that I'm pretty sure it's Stephen Miller's wife, who is now the press secretary for Pence. So it's starting to feel like that really hardcore base, literally within the administration, is really, really gathering around him. And this is the thing you have to realize. So gathering around him because they recognize on some level that this ship is going down. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to push through their agenda and get things done as quickly as they can. And behind, the sort of plan B of that is if they push the divisiveness really hard, um, that may be enough to sort of at least reverse some of what is going on. And I don't want to disappoint them. Okay, I do. But that's not going to happen. Okay, that's not going to work. The worse, the more sort of entrenched he becomes with the sort of white supremacist ideas, these sort of dividing the countries, all of this kind of culture pulling apart that he's trying to do, it's actually going to backfire on them and by extension on him. So this is what, it's really important to remember that except for a few, a lot of the people that Trump surrounds himself with, and in fact prefers to surround himself with, really don't have any government experience or government knowledge or understanding. And so they really don't understand kind of what they're up against, right? It's really that mentality of, listen, I won once and I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. So why should I assume that I'm not going to win twice? That's kind of like the attitude. They're having a hard time behind the scenes, kind of keeping him level. Okay, they've got the little Trump whisperers around him. I don't know who that is. Is that Kaylee? Is that that Hope chick? Her first name flew right out of my head. Is it Kellyanne? I don't know, but he's got these like this female energy sort of Trump whisperers around him, but they're having a hard time kind of reining him in and keeping him even looking slightly like he's rational. Okay, he has sunk deeper and deeper into his delusional behavior because he doesn't like reality. He doesn't like what he's being told. And he sees everywhere he looks, he sees that he is not kind of holding it together. And more, the country is being ridiculed. Now, do not misunderstand. On a basic level, Trump doesn't care if the country is ridiculed. He doesn't care if the country loses whatever standing or reputation it had in the world. But he does care if he is being ridiculed by extension. And so there's a lot of increased agitation. He doesn't feel people are listening to him. He doesn't feel his staff is doing what they need to do to make this work for him. Of course, he's kind of a lazy thing. And so he's not actually really prepared to do any of it himself. He's just waiting for someone else to do it. He literally would be that guy who could be like, I don't know, choking on a breadcrumb or something, right? And there's like an empty water glass and a pitcher of water right beside him, but he'll keep on choking because it never dawns on him to pour the damn glass of water for himself, because frankly, that's something somebody else should take care of. Almost as if it is their responsibility to fix the fact that he is choking on a crumb of food. That's sort of the energy and the attitudes that he has sunk to, and that is sort of what they're trying to deal with now. And of course, it makes it very difficult. And not only that, but he doesn't understand that this strong man attitude or mentality or positioning he takes is literally what is stabbing him in the back. Okay, it's literally that is what creates the worry, the anxiety, the stress. I mean, Brazil's prime minister, president, whatever the title he has now tested for COVID. That came out yesterday, and so positive for COVID. And so And honestly, I have to tell you, it is God's own personal mystery how this man has not come down with this thing yet, but I'm not exactly sure that his luck is going to hold over the long term. So he's scrambling a little bit. He's anxious. He's agitated. He doesn't really, again, for the 900th time, this guy is a one-trick pony, okay? He doesn't have another strategy. I mean, for goodness sakes, when you get softballed a question by the Hannitys of the world, and the question is simply, what do you want to accomplish in your next term? And he's got nothing, absolutely nothing to say. There's also a lot of pressure coming at him, sort of literally to create that, to complete favors, right? There is still a sense that he is working frantically behind the scenes trying to secure himself financially, secure his family, whether he is working out business deals post-presidency, whether he is paying back obligations because he got in the presidency in the first place by whatever illegal means. But there's definitely a sense that around him, in spite with everything going on, he's obsessing about his numbers, he's obsessing about the polls, he's obsessing about people not doing their jobs and making him king. And on top of that, he now has all of this agitation and worry and stress connected to money, financial obligations, or bottom line basic, I did this for you, you owe me payback, okay? So there's a lot of that going on behind the scenes. And slowly, he is starting to recognize that, in fact, this is his tower moment. He is in the middle of it. And again, I've said before, this isn't, a building being demolished and it just poof comes down with a big billow of smoke. This is like a slow crawling destruction of his foundation. And so he himself is actually starting to recognize that, wait a minute, you know what, things are not going quite as well as I think they're going or as I would like them to go. Because apparently some people love Biden more than me. Go figure. But the thing is that in some ways he's really not prepared to, I want to say signal defeat, right? He's really not. But what's going to happen in July in particular is that there's going to be these new swords through his heart. These are all new, brand new things. So is it Mary's book? Sure it is. Is it tax information that's going to come out? I think so. Is there more information from behind the scenes in terms of backroom deals that he made with other government leaders? Putin is not the only one. There's going to just be some really sharp swords to the heart for July for Trump as July rolls forward. So now there are indicators here with the sun, the Empress, and Temperance that there may be sort of all of these cards, if I was any other reader, I have to tell you they would all be reversed. But those of you who watch me know I don't tend to read reversals because I sort of intuitively know if the card should be read in its more lower vibration energy level or to a higher pure one. So what's happening here, what you have here is you have continued exposure because of the communications, because of the written word. And I've said before, and I will continue to say it, the print media, the news media, the investigative reporters, the books that are coming out, all of that kind of information is going to continue to come out, and it's not going to be helpful or flattering to him. And because of that, because the communications continue to come out, the information is going to sort of exponentially increase on one hand, but basically wither him on the other. It's going to, like, scorched earth, okay, like no growth forward, like lack of abundance, all of it. And so what that happens is then he again and those around him are completely unable to find any balance, any peace. There isn't a way to calm him down. Okay. This is a man, who lives in just perpetual fear of people finding out what goes on behind the scenes. And literally, whether that is behind the scenes in his home, in his bedroom, in the Oval Office, in his campaign offices, it doesn't matter. He lives in just constant fear that information that he does not want released about him or to come out about him is going to, and to be fair, it has been, and it will continue to do so. It's really interesting because on the one hand, there's this weird kind of dichotomy when you step into his energy, right? It's like, I hear the news. I do. I hear that my polls suck. I hear that I'm aggravating everybody. I hear that Republicans are stepping away from me. I hear that even my base is becoming a little bit more wobbly. I hear that. I do. And you know what his response to that is? I'm telling you, this is his response. No. I can't hear you. No, I'm not hearing anything you say. No. Literally, I'm telling you, that is what goes on in this guy's head. So it's like as soon as you come at him with any sense of reality, I'm pulling cards. He just shuts it down. He just literally shuts it down. He doesn't want to hear it. He's so busy having a pity party. He's so busy being confused. And honestly, he's so busy kind of, charging ahead and trying to accomplish that which he wants to accomplish. He's trying to secure that money. He's trying to spin. He's doing, what he does, right? Because on some level, he actually doesn't see, he hears it, it just doesn't resonate. It just doesn't cause any shift in his behavior or his reactions or his thought processes. He is just like that child with, their thumbs in their ears screaming, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And what, of course, is that causing? Well, it is creating that ending that, okay, like 75% or 80% of Americans are desperate to see happen. But what he's doing with this behavior is he's literally walking down his own plank. Like pirates, planks overboard. That's him. He's literally walking down that plank. He's doing this to himself. Nobody actually put him on the plank. Well, okay, that's not actually true. You know who put him on the plank? Trump's ego put him on that plank. And that, unfortunately, is going to be the pit he falls into. And here he is, of course. There he is. And so what we have here, we have Trump, and the anxiety is ratcheting up. Don't be surprised if he gets sick. And I'm not saying that he's going to or not going to get the coronavirus, but this. I'm reading this really sort of this time almost as a card of a physical sort of backing away, a physical stillness. Now, does that mean we will know about it? Absolutely not. I have to tell you, if he contracted the coronavirus, it would have to be a leak that would expose it, because he would do everything in his presidential power to ensure that that information did not get out to the public, because again, he really doesn't think that the public has any business or any right to know what goes on in his little world. But is it possible that there could be a little bit of a treat? We may retreat. We may not feel it, because he's forever twittering, God knows, and doing that. But there may be a period of time where we actually physically don't get eyes on him for a while, sometimes in July. And the burden, he continues, is heavy. He carries it. It's heavy. And frankly, it's wearing him out. It's exhausting him. I mean, just on a human level, I can feel some compassion for this man whose world is completely spinning out of control. And he can have whatever diagnosed illness or condition you want. But going through a lifetime for whatever it is, 74 years or however old he is, and basically fundamentally getting away with a certain kind of behavior. It was simply accepted. It was Donald. Nobody really ever tried to sort of reprimand him or harness his behavior. He was simply allowed to think what he wanted to think and do what he wanted to do and scream at whoever he wanted to scream at. That was his whole life. And to be fair, he got away with it for more than 3 years as the President of the United States. But what's happening now is there's too much, okay? You've got the coronavirus. You have the Black Lives Matter situation. You have the courts not exactly siding with him case after case after case. And you have more information coming out from the media. And so what you have is somebody who all of a sudden is scrambling to figure out another way to act, reply, respond. He doesn't have one. On some level, he kind of maybe understands that it would be good if he could find one, but he doesn't have one, and he doesn't know how to create one. And he doesn't really, in his heart of hearts, believe he should have to. But with the Chariot here, this kind of behavior, the 9 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, the burdens of the 10 of Wands are going to continue. They're going to continue to move forward. I'm not really seeing, a whole lot. You've got, there is this sense that they're really trying to drag him into some sort of calmer or smoother water, but it's not going to happen. Over the course of this month, anticipate seeing more and more world leaders carefully and politically correct, but pulling back from him. So a lot of countries now are in a place where they've stopped coddling him. They've stopped humoring him. Long ago, they stopped respecting him, if they ever did have any respect in the first place, and I suspect most didn't. They're going to be pulling back because he is endangering their countries. He is endangering the planet. And of course, world leaders who are true world leaders, okay, country leaders who are true leaders in the highest sense of the word, they are also rather indignant with the way he is treating his own citizens, whether they are the ones who are contracting this disease, whether they are the ones who are locked up at the border, whether they are the ones who are getting killed on the streets by people who think somehow they're less than because they're not white. They're kind of done with it. And he's going to start getting that message more and more clearly. I don't have all the details because I sort of heard it on the kind of edges of my brain. But yesterday morning they were talking about the fact that Trudeau had turned down an invitation to visit with Trump at the White House. Don't be surprised. You know who's going to be in that White House? You know, the Erdogans of the world, right? Because that's all he has. That's all he has left to play with, and frankly, that's all he wants to play with. All right, because he thinks he's some tough guy. Okay, and he's not some tough guy. Biden is also going to start to really not start to. He's going to continue to really get under his skin as July unfolds, and it looks as if Biden's announcement of his VP is going to really significantly boost Biden's appeal, and that is going to make it even more difficult for Trump to stop the sort of like a stone rolling down the mountain, which is exactly what's going on with his life and his campaign and his reelection and all of it. It's going to sort of amplify that or make it move faster and faster. So Biden's going to really do, I want to say, well, this announcement is going to be very empowering, frankly, to a lot of people. And that puts Trump yet again in a situation where stuff's going on. He doesn't want to hear it. He's going to become more and more scared. He's actually starting to think on some twisted level about how to escape or how to get gone. People are sort of really done. They're kind of done with everything he has taken from the country, with everything he is trying to remove from the country. So whether that is money he has taken or norms he has taken or laws he has broken, whatever it is, people are done with his behavior. They just really are done. And there is a recognition that this is not going well for him. He, of course, God knows, he is going to spend his time and energy completely focused on the past, okay? So exactly like when Hannity said, so what do you want for your fourth term, or your second term, the next 4 years? He automatically reverted to, well, in 2016, right? Because that's where he has to live now, because he has no rah yay moments recently. So he has to go backwards in time to find some time, some place when he was at the very least, some people liked him, right? He had some support. Yeah. The vice president announced, the potential vice president for Biden announcement, really going to move things, speed things up in terms of the Biden campaign and the support. And what that's going to do is that's going to really pull back on even more of the support that Trump thinks he has. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. So I'm kind of going to say, you know what, you can anticipate poll numbers to start looking really bad. And not only that, but this hangman card, this thing actually represents the GOP. Okay, for all of their sacrifices, for everything they did, they're now starting to understand with a third degree of clarity that just blew up in their face, and they are not going to be able to hold on. They are not going to be able to recover. There is not enough time. And as long as everybody sort of, one, keeps defending Trump, and two, is defensive about the actual realities of what is going on in the United States, the more GOPs are going to really start pulling away from him, because if they want any kind of success, they can't be this attached to him. But you know what? This is the thing, right? I'm sorry, they're going to be left out in the cold. Well, why would that be? Well, because, people may have short attention spans, and people may be easily distracted by the shiny red balls, okay? But at some point, if you accumulate enough bad behavior, if what you do is so outside normal expected behavior, at some point you're going to be left out in the cold. And I think that that is what the Republicans can look forward to. These will be the final cards. Here we go. With a lot of hard work, and people making the right decisions, that prosperity, that abundance, that happiness can be returned to the United States. Is that going to happen in July? I don't think so. But is it going to happen at the election? Yeah, it is. So again, as for right now, I see nothing that indicates that Trump is going to have any sort of a significant rebound. I don't see it. I think that as horrendous a June that Trump had, as bad as that month was, and it was, it looks like July is not only going to be better, it looks like it conceivably could get worse. This is the thing that I got this in a message the other day, and I just want to share it with you before I say goodbye. Mitch McConnell is famous for saying that history is written by the winners. What you need to understand about Mitch McConnell is he perceives himself as a winner, okay? So as far as he is concerned, he has written his history. And because he is in that space, he is sort of not really thinking of the history that will be written about him after the fact. And that's okay too, right? Get what you give. Okay, again, thank you ever so much for your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you, heartfelt thank yous for your donations. They're so lovely and heartwarming. I thank you for that. And of course, if you're looking for a private reading, there's some information in that box below. Until next time, take care. Be well. Stay safe. Bye-bye.